Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first of many series where I take games in the alpha and beta stage and waste money on them to give everyone else a chance at saving themselves from another The War Z. Now, Earth Space Colonies is a game released on Steam February 12th. It is a simulation game where you colonize other planets. It's minor resource management along with other gameplay. Let's go. I played it a good amount over the last day and a half. Let me go ahead and take you through some of the finer points and the not so fine points of this game. Yep. You start off the game in a small square in the middle of a large field. You get a little guy that tells you pretty much all the controls, how to play the game. He is more or less the tutorial. Nice little robot named Sinclair. He's pretty cool. Basic WASD movement with a actually really interesting camera style. What it does is you move around normal WASD, and then you have to hold the right mouse button in order to look around, and then it unlocks the mouse when you let go of the right mouse button. So I thought that was actually really cool in my opinion, because it gives you the entire screen to mess around. You don't actually have to pivot the entire camera to do anything. So that was pretty nifty. The start off of the game, you have to drop Colony 1, and it pretty much gives you a little bit of all the resources and some people to start up your colony. So far in the game, you actually have a good amount to choose from. It's early access, but it still has a decent selection in all the different buildings you're able to throw down for your colony. What it usually ends up being, though, is you just kind of build like 24 hydroponics after a couple power plants. The balance of them isn't very good, so you just end up doing pretty much the same thing because it's extremely efficient, and you know there's not too much other uses for the other buildings. It's very linear, or it feels so. Whenever you get a new level, you'll get like a new little robot that just kind of walks around and runs into stuff, and then sometimes you get people, sometimes you get rovers. It's a hit and miss. But what really isn't that much of a hit and miss is these characters and their character development. It goes very far into the backstories and the depth and the relationship in between all the characters. The long awkward pauses makes it really feel like an actual conversation. And there's also just the writing.
This far on charm with my good looks. With my good looks. My good looks.
And here we have the 90% of the gameplay. You build resources, it is your income source, so you have to just continually output and go to each building individually. You can set up a small queue that it increases with some buildings per level, but for the most part you have a range between 2 to 4 is a large majority of the buildings. So you just have to keep going back to them and setting up a queue to get whatever resources, and it becomes extremely tedious. It's a huge downside. Being able to toggle perhaps what resource would be better, and then you just ship them off world to get cash, and that's it. Luckily, they have a small objectives tab, and all you gotta do is follow it. Just follow it. Just follow it. As of right now, the crafting system is slightly expansive. It has a good amount of materials, and some of them go into the others to build the other materials. Unfortunately, it's not very well flushed out just because it's not necessarily worth it. The time it takes in order to craft the components and then the final resource, it just doesn't add up all the time. So what ended up happening is I just built the astronaut spacesuits on repeat and then sent those off because those were the best, the most efficient money making, and that was it. And then you just ship anything off world on repeat, and that's the game. There is an off-world tab that I didn't cover in this video that it shows that there's the potential for having different colonies on different worlds and possibly micromanaging all three of them at the same time. There is Mars and then the 2 other planets. So it shows room for improvement, but as of right now, the final rating I would give this game is a green banana over 10. It has a lot of potential, but it just needs to kind of let it sit on the counter and ripen until you can actually stomach it. As of right now, it's in beta form, and it's very obvious that it's an early access. And one of the worst parts is when you're 2.5 hours in, when it glitches out and resets your level, locks everything up, and you can't do anything. And you just have one option left.